All right, guys. Testing, testing. Let's make sure this mic is on. Testing. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks for taking the time to join me today and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My apologies, I did not do an aftermarket recap yesterday. I was absolutely tired, exhausted. This week has absolutely been nuts in a good way. I've had a great week. Obviously, if you're an investor, if you're a trader, if you were bullish, you were pretty much having a good day. Yesterday, good week. Looks like we're in the process of having our first green week in 8 weeks. Remember, nothing lasts forever. We talked about that. But yeah, I've been staying up late, kind of reading a bunch of charts, reading a bunch of info. I have like 6 subscriptions to different newspapers, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Bloomberg, you name it. So I'm reading everything as much as I can get my hands on to get any extra info that we can use for analysis so I can report it to you guys. So I do the reading so you guys don't have to. That's all it is, right? Required reading. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Good morning. Dow Jones up 121 points. NASDAQ up 1.25%. S&P up 0.76% at 4,086. We'll talk about the level. Russell up 0.76, 1850. Gasoline futures down 0.46%, 113.56. That was crude oil. Gasoline down 0.35%, $3.77 a barrel. A gallon, excuse me. Gold futures up 0.37%. Silver futures starting to push up 1.62%. Bond prices are up. Yields are down 2.741%. Dollar is flat against the yen. Euro dollar, same deal, kind of flat against the euro. 107.15 euro dollar. Bitcoin starting to bounce a little bit. 29,220. Ethereum starting to bounce off that 1,700 level right now as it was sold off yesterday. The VIX down 2.4%. We do have a gap to fill on the VIX, so more than likely we can get there. May not be today. Obviously, I expect volumes to drop a little bit, but 25.46 is your target on the VIX. That's the gap fill. Take a look at S&P. We're going to go ahead and zoom out to the daily. Our good old friends, the daily. This gap did not fill. Very close, but it did not. 41.01. We're a couple of points away. We should fill that today. After that, maybe 41.50 would be our resistance. I highly doubt we'll get a little higher than that. We just may not have enough volume, but 41.01 is a pretty much foregone conclusion, which is nice. That'll confirm this base breakout, of this channel, good sign. And now you're saying to yourself, well, Carlos, what's next, right? What's the next level? What can we go up to? 43.06, 43.07 seems about right for me. That's your level. You'll probably get there through the summer. That's again, bear market rally. So we should reject here. If we start getting above here, the 200-day, 44.50, then we can change our analysis and see where we go from there, maybe 4,600 or so. Remember, we got to March 46.41, and then we rejected, double top. So head and shoulders, and then we fell. So really, if you really think about it, 4,300, 43.71, that's your neckline, right? It's pretty much the neckline for the head and shoulders. Pretty good level to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and draw a line or so. You know me, I love my lines. I'm going to go ahead and go straight down this way. Let's see if I got that even. Now, again, it's not going to be a straight shot. Keep in mind, you're going to get some volatility here and there, get some push up, push down. But for the most part, I like the market to get to 4,300 as a base case. Neutral case, 43.71. The bull case would be 44.54. So there's your 3 levels there. This is my base case. I think the highest probability we'll get to 4,300, and then we could possibly reject. 43.71 wouldn't be bad either. That's your neckline of the head and shoulders, and then you'll probably roll over. Now we get to 44.54. And again, guys, for all we know, it could be the bottom. I don't think so. I just think we get that summertime rally and sell off into the election season, midterm elections. So at the end of the day, you're really just watching technicals right now. You know, yesterday, the day before, NVIDIA had a good quarter. I'd say okay quarter, and their guidance wasn't the best, and they soared 5% yesterday. So remember, it's all about price action. Still a market. It's all about what people think, emotions. Do we think greed is going higher? No, I still think there's a lot of shorts out there. Maybe the shorts got a little too greedy. Could be, but 41.01 is definitely on the way. Pretty good stuff. And it's a Friday. Monday's no market. Memorial Day weekend. So expect volumes to really dry up today. I don't expect much. I really wouldn't want to be trading this. I'd rather just go in clean on a Tuesday, ready to rock. Let's answer some questions. Brano's asking, good morning. When I see GM, I think of GM, General Motors. Good morning. What would you rather buy the next dip? Nvidia or AMD? Really good question. Let's see what the PE, or let's see what price to earnings tells us. Nvidia, even after their earnings, their jump in stock price, 26.48. AMD is 19.73. AMD is cheaper price to earnings. So I have more Nvidia than AMD, but I think AMD would be the cheaper buy and a better buy. I actually like Qualcomm here. It's cheaper, pays a yield more than these two, and they also buy back stock. That's really strong. I like when they do that. So I would lean to Qualcomm as a chip maker first because of the handsets, phones. I would go in AMD and Nvidia just based on price. Again, we want to find value on what we're purchasing with our money. Carmen asks, good morning, Carlos. Thoughts on calls for AMD and SPY? Let's do it. Again, I wouldn't be going too hard trying to trade, but 410, see the gap fill right there? 410.35. There's your gap. That was filled, excuse me, on SPY. But again, that was the gap. 410.54 would be my target on SPY. After that is 415. I think that's the highest you go. Maybe a melt up today or short covering ahead of the weekend. You could possibly get that spike. Taking a look at AMD. AMD is on a breakout. Last time we did trade this, we got as high as 104. I like that level. So maybe a 103 calls, 104 calls, depending on the volume. What I want to hold over the weekend, that remains to be seen. But we'll see what happens. Gush levels. That's oil. That's Austin asking about Gush. Gush is the ETF that tracks oil. It's a breakout. Yes. Would love to see it fill this gap here on the daily of 194.26. And you could go long. Oil's still pretty solid so far. At least they pay a dividend. Thoughts on Costco post earnings? Let's see what Costco's doing after hours. I believe Costco did beat. So let me go ahead and verify. Let's see. Costco earnings. I did not watch yesterday. Yeah, they beat on EPS. They beat on revenue. Good surprise to the upside. A $3.02 EPS was expectation. $3.04 were reported. $52.6 billion in revenue. Let's see. Over delivers on earnings. Let's go ahead and read it together. I'm watching it on CNBC Pro. If I can get this, or this is the Investing Club. Okay, I don't have that. That's Jim Cramer stuff. Nothing against Jim Cramer. I love him. A lot of Costco love. Let's see what CNBC has to say. Asians comprise about 7% of the population, but make up nearly 12% of Costco shoppers. Fastest growing demographic in the U.S. So that's an Asian American article in regards to Costco. Let's go to Barron's. Find me something. Comparable sales, excluding gasoline and foreign exchange, were up 10.8 in the quarter. People are shopping at Costco. So that's good. That's very strong. I don't know if they had guidance. Let's see. Guidance. Any guidance? Yeah, obviously we know that margins do hit, but nothing. Here we go. Costco margins hit by rising freight, fuel costs. We know that. That might have been discounted when we had that big flush in consumer defensive stocks or staples, as we call it. I'm trying to see if they had any kind of. See, here's a quote, good quote. We're not seeing trade down really. We're seeing a little bit of shifting where people are spending their money. This year it's more tickets, restaurants, travels, tire, and gas. So again, we're going from buying stuff to doing stuff. We talked about that, right? But that I don't see any guidance on it. Let me see the PE ratio if that's been updated. Still trades at a 32 multiple. That's pretty premium. I like Costco, but again, if you're okay with paying a 32 PE in this rate environment, Nvidia would probably be better if you want a little more growth. But I like Costco, and I think Costco should be a good staple of any portfolio because it is a defensive retailer. It is a consumer defensive or consumer staple. You know, everyone shops at Costco or Walmart or Target. I think those companies are good to own. I think they definitely have been oversold after those earnings on Walmart and Target. Do I want to buy them now? No, I want to buy kind of a little more beaten down tech. I think tech will be the first ones to lead us out of this hole of this correction. But again, I do like Costco. a lot. There is a gap to fill here at 490.51. Maybe if you break above 470, that could be interesting for next week. Morning, Carlos. How can you check and see if volume is up or down? Right here, S&P futures. Yes, I know S&P futures, my favorite. You have the volume bars underlapping the price action or the candles, and I can always see the volume here. You see volume spike, the blue lines here, and you can see in just comparison. Yeah, we just had a little spike, but yeah, you could start seeing that the volume is kind of dragging here. Had a drop, a pop, a drop, a pop, and seeing just downward as we go until the Memorial Day weekend. So that's what happens. Anything a big macro factor going forward that you keep an eye on? Obviously, it's inflation. I think we get one more CPI number ahead of the Fed in June. We had a decent PCE number. Let me go ahead and break that down. The PCE report is the price index that was actually at break even or hitting expectations of 0.2%. The previous reading was 0.9%. So we're starting to see cooling. It's still high inflation, but it's less severe now. We're getting in the right direction. I think that's what the market is kind of cheering the bear market. Right? A lot of people are just selling, closing their positions, closing their shorts. A lot of people were bearish, but yeah, I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. But again, some really good info, some good macro data, meaning the PCE. One thing I do want to show you with that is yields. Yields are still kind of falling down. You can see in that channel. So let's go ahead and extend this to the right. You can see we're right in the middle, guys, just right in the middle. So again, a good downtrend on yield. So the bond market is telling us that inflation fears are going to either subside short term, or they're just going to subside completely. That's really it. But again, the bond market is telling me that inflation is coming down ahead of everyone else. Because if inflation's high, you're not buying bonds and lowering and locking in lower rate for 10 years. What do you think about next week's Amazon split in the current market? I think that'll be helpful to kind of boost up the dip buyers, bear market rally sort of thing. Sure. There's a gap to fill at 2307. Could definitely get there today, if anything. But I don't think so. But I would probably say next week. So, hey, if the stock price is cheaper, the charts don't change, just the price. We could play on the upside. So another $100, we can play the $10 difference. I think it's a 10-to-1 split. So we would say the 230 calls. If I'm correct, the 10-to-1 split. So that's what I would look at in terms of Amazon. Amazon, all it's doing, guys, is changing the price, just making it a little cheaper, a little more accessible to traders to want to invest or buy the stock. It doesn't change the value whatsoever. It's a difference between 4 quarters and 10 dimes. Coins, same thing. 4 quarters are easier to handle in your hand. 10 dimes is more accessible to pass around. Best analogy I could think of, guys. All right, so we'll go ahead and leave it there. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will do a aftermarket recap, and I will do an IG live, an Instagram live, so today. So I hope you guys join me. I'll send out a reminder, and we'll catch you guys in a bit. Let's see what the price action does today. Happy trading. We'll see you soon. Cheers.